Now, what do we want in a laser? We already know that amplification in a medium can occur only due to stimulated emission. So in laser, what do we want? We want more stimulated emission to occur as compared to the other two transitions. So firstly, we are going to find the ratio of the rate of spontaneous emission to that of stimulated emission. So what do we want? We want more stimulated emission to occur. Now we are going to find the ratio of these two transitions at thermal equilibrium. So now rate of spontaneous emission, we have seen that this rate is equal to A21 into N2, and the rate of stimulated emission is equal to B21 N2 into U of omega. So N2 and N2 will cancel with each other and we will have A21 divided by B21 into U of omega. So this is the general ratio. We haven't used the condition of thermal equilibrium over here. This is the general ratio over here. Now we are going to use the thermal equilibrium condition. Now in the case of thermal equilibrium, when we used this condition, we came up with the formula of U of omega, which is equal to A21 divided by power h cut omega by kBt minus, over here we have B12 and over here B21. So B12 is equal to B21. So we can write as A21 divided by, so B12 is equal to B21. So we can take this common. So inside the bracket you will be left with e power h cut omega by kBt minus 1. So this is equal to U of omega. So from here we are going to find, firstly this equation has been derived after using the condition of thermal equilibrium. So this is the condition when there is thermal equilibrium. This is the equation for the case of thermal equilibrium. Now from here we are going to take this ratio, that is A21 divided by B21 into U of omega. So that will come out to be equal to A21 over B21. U of omega will be equal to, so you will rearrange this equation and that will be equal to e power h cut omega by kBt minus 1. So this is the ratio at thermal equilibrium. So rate of spontaneous emission to that of rate divided by the rate of stimulated emission is equal to this factor, and at thermal equilibrium this factor is equal to e power h cut omega by kBt minus 1. So at thermal equilibrium this ratio is equal to e power h cut omega by kBt minus 1. So we want in a laser, what do we want? We want more stimulated emission to occur. So we want this denominator to be very large as compared to that of the numerator. So we want this ratio to be least because we want minimum spontaneous emission and maximum stimulated emission. So we want this ratio to be the least. So we want this e power h cut omega by kBt minus 1 to be minimum. So now for the case of normal optical sources that we have, like the ordinary sources that we have that emit visible light. So for that case the temperature is approximately 10 power 3 kelvins, and let's say we are taking the wavelength in the visible region. So let's say we take approximately 6000 Armstrong. So for the normal optical sources, that is, we are making this wavelength of photons to fall on a two-level oscillator, and the difference in the energy levels of the oscillator, these two levels, the energy difference is equal to h cut omega, and over here h cut omega will be h cut into omega is 2 pi nu. So this will be equal to h cut into 2 pi as it is. Now what is nu? It is c divided by lambda. So lambda is, we are using the visible region light. So we have 6000 Armstrong. So over here we are taking into account that the difference in the two energy level lies in the visible region. So we are using visible region photons to make transition in this two level oscillator. So what happens in this case when we are using lambda, which is approximately 6000 Armstrong, and temperature for normal optical sources is about 10 power 3 kelvins. So over here, if we will use this wavelength, so we will find this factor, which is h cut omega divided by kBT over here. This factor will be found separately. So h cut is equal to h divided by 2 pi. So h is the Planck's constant, its value you already know in SI units. Then omega is the angular frequency. So omega is nothing but equal to 2 pi nu. So nu is nothing but equal to c divided by lambda. Then we have Boltzmann constant, whose value is in SI units, it is 1.38 into 10 power minus 23. Then we have temperature, which is 1000 kelvins. So when you will insert all these values, this factor will come out to be approximately equal to 23 or 24. So when you will solve this factor for the case of normal optical sources whose the light which is emitted by these sources lies in the visible region. So in this case, h cut omega by kBT is approximately equal to 23. So in this case, if you find this ratio of spontaneous emission to stimulated emission, this is equal to e power h cut omega by kBT minus 1. This we have already found over here. So we will just insert the value of h cut omega by kBT. So this will be approximately equal to 10 power 10. So when you will solve it, you will get the ratio of the rate of spontaneous emission and that of stimulated emission will be approximately equal to 10 power 10. So this is a very large value. So in laser, what do we want? We want more stimulated emission to occur. We want this denominator to dominate as compared to the numerator. So what we want? We want this whole ratio to be the least. But in this case, when we are using normal optical sources to pump this oscillator, this ratio, it is 10 power 10. It is approximately 10 power 10, which is a very large value. So in the case of optical frequencies means that lie in the visible region. So in the case of optical frequencies, it is very difficult to construct a laser, to make the lasing action to occur. So it is very difficult. So the emission at optical frequencies means that lie in the visible region. So emission at optical frequencies is predominantly due to spontaneous emission. So there is more spontaneous emission occurring as compared to stimulated emission when we are using normal optical sources. So therefore, the emission of light from ordinary light source is incoherent. So if there is more spontaneous emission occurring, then the light will be incoherent, as the photons which are emitted from the spontaneous emission process, they are incoherent. So the light which is emitted from these ordinary light sources is incoherent, and this is because there is more spontaneous emission occurring as compared to the stimulated emission. On the other hand, if you find this ratio in the case of microwave region, so this was in the visible region. So when you will find this ratio in the microwave region, so in that case you have to take lambda approximately 10 centimeters. So when you will find this ratio in that case, this ratio, it will tend to 0. So in the microwave region, it is quite easy to construct a laser as compared to the visible region. So in the case of microwave region, there is more rate of stimulated emission occurring as compared to spontaneous emission, and that you can find by putting lambda approximately 10 centimeter. You will find that this ratio will tend to 0 in that case. So therefore in the microwave region, stimulated emission occurs more as compared to the spontaneous emission. So it is easy to construct a laser. So it is easy for the lasing action to occur in the microwave region as compared to the visible region. Now when we derived the relation of Einstein coefficients, so we found this ratio B21 divided by A21. So B21 is the transition probability for stimulated emission, and this is the A21 is the probability for spontaneous emission. So this ratio came out to be equal to pi square C cube divided by h cut omega cube. So this ratio we have already found in the case of derivation of Einstein's coefficients. So in this case you can see now B21 is for the case of stimulated emission and this is for the case of spontaneous emission. So in a laser we want more probability of stimulated emission to occur as compared to the spontaneous emission. So in this fraction you can see that pi is constant, c is constant, h cut is constant. What can we vary? So we can vary this omega. So in the numerator we have stimulated emission and in the denominator we have spontaneous emission. So we want more stimulated emission to occur in laser. So what do we want? We want this fraction to be more. So for this fraction to be more, this omega has to be decreased. So to increase this fraction, that is to increase stimulated emission probability, we have to decrease this omega frequency. So we have to lower this frequency. So therefore we can say that it is easy to construct a laser for lower frequency region. So we have to decrease this omega to increase stimulated emission probability. So we can say that it is easy to construct a laser at low frequency as compared to that of high frequency, or you can say high frequency lasers such as UV or X-ray lasers, they are more difficult to build and operate as compared to the lasers at lower frequencies. So this is the reason why masers were constructed very early as compared to laser. As we have said that masers were constructed successfully in 1954, whereas the first laser in the visible region was constructed in 1960, which was the ruby laser. So in 1954 maser had been constructed. So maser is nothing but microwave amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. As we have already seen that in the microwave region, laser is easy to construct and operate. So this is the reason why masers were constructed very early as compared to the lasers in the optical frequencies. Now we are going to see the ratio of stimulated absorption to that of stimulated emission. So we are going to see the ratio of absorption to the stimulated emission. Now what is the rate of stimulated absorption? It is equal to B12 N1 into U of omega divided by B21 N2 into U of omega. So at thermal equilibrium we have already seen that B12 is equal to B21. So the probability of stimulated absorption is equal to that of stimulated emission. So B12 is equal to B21 at thermal equilibrium. So they will cancel with each other. Then this will cancel with each other and it will be just equal to N1 divided by N2. So in laser, what do we want? Firstly, we have seen that in laser we want stimulated emission. We want more rate of stimulated emission as compared to that of spontaneous emission. But in laser we also want more stimulated emission to occur as compared to absorption. Because if photons are absorbed, if more photons are absorbed, then there is no use of laser. We want in a laser that more photons are emitted, high intense beam is emitted in the laser. So if absorption is dominating, then there is no use of laser, that is, there is no lasing action. So we want stimulated emission, this rate to be more as compared to the rate of stimulated absorption. So we want this ratio to be least. So we want more denominator as compared to the numerator. So we want this ratio to be least. So for that, what do we have? What do we want? We want this ratio to be least. So we want less number of atoms in the lower state as compared to that in the higher state. So N2 are the number of atoms in the excited state and N1 are the number of atoms in the lower state. So N1 are the atoms in the lower state and N2 are the atoms in the excited state. So in this ratio of stimulated absorption to that of stimulated emission, we have N1 by N2. And we want this ratio to be least for stimulated emission to dominate over stimulated absorption. We want more denominator as compared to the numerator. So we want more N2 as compared to N1. So N2 must be more. The number of atoms in the excited level must be more as compared to the number of atoms in the lower level. So generally, what do we have? Generally, we have more atoms in the lower level because lower level is, or you can say the ground state is more stable state. So more atoms are found in the lower level as compared to the upper level. But in the case of laser, we want opposite condition so that lasing action can occur successfully. So we want more atoms in the excited state and less number of atoms in the ground state. So this is called as population inversion. So we want the condition of population inversion to be present for lasing action to occur successfully. So therefore we need pumping. So while we will be discussing about components of laser, we will discuss about various methods of pumping. So pumping is used to increase the population of the excited level as compared to that of the lower level, so that population and inversion condition can be achieved and stimulated emission will dominate over absorption, and hence lasing action can occur successfully.